Hi, I'm Liz Forte. I'm Health and Wellness Director at Compass UK and Ireland. Welcome to the latest in the US series of The Future of Food at Work. This one is all about the art and science of coffee. Coffee is big business, with over 95 billion cups consumed across the world every day, and 95 million of those are drunk in the UK. That's an awful lot of coffee for a nation of tea drinkers. In fact, the UK is one of the world's leading coffee markets globally, with sales of 10 billion in 2018, and that's set to increase by 4 to 6 billion in 2020. And we're not just drinking more coffee than ever, we're drinking more types of coffee. Over the last few years, flat white sales have increased by 53%, cold brew by 32%, and filter coffee by 29%. And iced coffee as a whole is increasing by 7.3% year on year. There were 1,400 specialty coffee shops in the UK in 2019, and pre-COVID, that number was set to increase to 2,500 in 2020. I'm here today at Grind in London Bridge. They've had an incredible journey with an amazing story to tell, and we'll hear more about that later. So what's behind our seemingly unquenchable thirst for the black stuff? Well, I think there are a few factors at play here. Firstly, in the workplace, coffee time is break time, especially if it's barista made and gets you away from the office kitchen. Leaving our desk to get a cup of coffee gives us a change of scenery, a change of pace. It's really important to be able to take a break from work, and actually that makes you more productive in the long run. And there's also the opportunity to have those kind of chance encounters, the social glue that keeps you together, interacting with different colleagues that you might not normally see, or someone from another company, or an opportunity to network or collaborate, or just help feel a kind of sense of belonging and part of something bigger. The same is really true for home workers. And I know that recently many of us have become home workers, but freelancers were often swapping the kitchen table for a coffee shop. And then COVID put paid to that. But actually, now that coffee shops are starting to reopen, you're seeing the laptops coming back out and people starting to want to work in those kind of spaces again. And then there's the social side. It's been widely reported that millennials are drinking less alcohol. So are coffee shops replacing the pubs and bars as a place to meet and socialise? And with a wide range of different coffees available, from frappes to pour-overs, there's still the ceremony and the kind of engagement that you would get from a cocktail. Coffee, of course, is habit forming, and the British Coffee Association say that of those of us that visit coffee shops, 80% of us do so once a week, and 16% do so on a daily basis. Or at least we did. As we know, the COVID crisis has hit hospitality hard, and it's impossible to predict what the future lies and how the high street will bounce back. But I think it's safe to say that our love affair with coffee is here to stay. And some of the existing trends are only set to accelerate. Take the focus on health. We know that people are interested in leading healthier lives, and they're interested in diet and nutrition. That was here pre-COVID and has only increased more so now. Look at milk alternatives, a massively growing market in its own right, but one that really comes into its own in the context of coffee. Have you tried rice or oat milk, coconut, cashew, macadamia? There's so many to choose from now, and more than just soya. Personally, I like almond milk the best. Ethical consumption feels more relevant than ever, especially as we look to support our communities and do good where we can. And it's especially important in coffee, where supply chains can be complicated. According to Mintel, 45% of consumers would pay more for a cup of coffee if it directly benefited those who grew it. I'm sure a lot of people rely on coffee to help get them up in the morning, but an emerging trend that we're seeing is coffee cocktails, and that's one that I am personally very excited about. So not just your traditional Irish coffee or espresso martini, but a coffee Negroni, old-fashioned, or even a coffee G&T. You're unlikely to find these drinks on the menu at your local cafe, but for coffee shops that stay open a bit later, this could be part of the new normal, and a big draw for customers who are still a bit wary about going to pubs and bars. As more and more coffee shops open post-COVID, it's time to look at the key issue of the moment, which is the long-term impact of the pandemic, socially, culturally, and economically. It's really hard to predict what the future will hold, but I think with coffee and coffee shops, there are all sorts of essential qualities that will put coffee shops of all kinds in good stead. So what are they? Well, consistent delivery is what I'm talking about. It has to be really great coffee, and the same goes for service. It's got to be high standards. Ethical business practices, both at home and further afield, will be essential. And finally, a strong brand identity, one that stands for all of the above.